Hey, good morning. It is Tuesday and it's simply irresistible time with me, Yolanda Lewis, in the Intentional Authorpreneur Group. I'm so excited to be here with you today because today we're going to talk about one of my favorite topics, branding, and branding as it relates to marketing. So maybe I should take my glasses off so you don't see the reflection there. But yeah, branding as it relates to marketing. So a lot of times with authors, branding is synonymous to marketing. They use branding as marketing and then wonder why they find themselves in a stuck spot in terms of after your friends and family circle has sold and you are now trying to sell beyond the friends and family circle. You get stuck because then that's the time that most authors look at evaluating their brand, or they only see looking at their brand in correlation to marketing efforts. So everything having to do with the book, and they think that they have to have a website that's all about the book. They have to have an author page that's just about them as an author when they may have so much more to offer. And so one of the ways I want to help you to really become simply irresistible to your audience is to help you to understand the difference between branding and marketing. So, in short, branding is three things. All right, get your notepad out because we're going deep today. Okay, branding is three things. Branding is a message, branding is value, and branding is influence. I did like I'm speaking a different language, but branding is three things. Branding is a message, it is value, and it is influence. What does that mean in terms of you being an author? Actually, I'm gonna take a sip of this water because my throat's already a little bit dry. So, what this means for you as an author is that branding as your message or branding the message of your book means you're not just focused on selling your book. You're not just focused on selling your book when you're looking at your branding. You're looking at the message that you are offering through your book. And every book and every author has a message. They have a theme. Sometimes you might look at it being called your genre, right? What genre do you write in? So if you have a fiction book that's romance, right? You write romance novels. Well, your message is all about love. And so you don't necessarily want to brand yourself as an author in terms of one book, because if you put out another book, you're going to have to do the same thing. And then you get into having to rebrand. So you don't want to do that. What you do want to do ahead of the game, if you can, and if you have not, because you're not ahead of the game, if you are just getting or needing to rebrand your brand platform, this is a great opportunity to do that too. So you're going to look at what your message is. There are some folks who might be relationship authors. Everything you write is about relationship. It doesn't matter how many titles you have under your belt. It doesn't matter how many books or what audience in particular when it comes to the brand. In particular, you're writing to. So let's say you're writing to women, right? You're a woman who writes to women in terms of relationship, or you're a man who writes to women in terms of relationship. Your brand is still all about relationship. And so when you're setting up your brand message, you want that to be communicated. Now, I will pause here for a minute to say a lot of times people confuse branding collateral with the actual message, and that's not the same thing, right? Branding collateral is an extension of the brand message, of the brand value, and of the brand influence. All right, so you don't get to the flyers and the pretty colors and the beautiful website and all of that until you've determined what your brand message is. So I want you to pause for a moment, and as you're writing down in your notes these 3 points about branding, I want you to look at your own brand as an author and look at what your brand is saying. Why hasn't your book been sold off the shelves, off the e-shelves, right? Off the Amazon shelves? Why isn't it out of stock yet on your website? Why not? Well, it could be because your brand message isn't clear. And if your brand message isn't clear, guess who's not buying your book? Your target audience. because they don't know how to find you. They don't know how to connect. They don't know how to match their need with what you offer. They don't know how to do that with what you're presenting them. Buy my book, and I say this all the time, buy my book is not a strategy. I know it's painful because that's all you want to say when you finish your book. You want to stand on the rooftops and scream to the world, buy my book, because you're so excited. And that's awesome. But if you really want to sell books, you have to have a strategy in place. And I can help you with that. And we can talk about that a little bit later on. But first, I want to focus on your brand message. I want you to think about what your brand message is. Now, when you look at that brand message, once you have determined it, now has value. It has value to those who are looking for whatever your topic or theme message is. So in the example that I gave with regard to relationship, if you're a relationship author and you that's what you do, everything that you do has to do with relationships, or everything that you've written has to do with relationships, then the value is to your target audience, because they know they can expect from you everything they need to know about relationships in whatever genre. So if you talk about divorce and overcoming divorce, if you talk about dating and getting through the trenches of dating, if you talk about relationship with self, right? Self-discovery and self-replenishment and self-restoration, if you talk about that, they know that they can come to you for that. That is the value. So your brand has a message and a value. And once you've established that message, if I was to do a pyramid, I'd say the message goes at the bottom. The next level is the message is the value that goes in the middle. And then that top tier layer would be influence. And your brand influence is dictated by how well your message is put together, how clear it is. And then also it is determined by the value it has within your target audience. Now, let me say this too with regard to influence and value. Nothing is valuable until someone wants it. That's your basic supply and demand that you learn in business school. And so the key here, though, is to find the people that do want it and to know how to shift and be flexible with how your message is communicated with in correlation with what may be happening in culture, with what may be happening in economic things, what may be happening on a spiritual sense, with just what may be happening in the world around us. Making sure that your message is relative. That's what gives it influence. So the value comes from them, your audience, knowing what you offer and them treasuring that because it's everything they've been looking for. But the influence comes from the relevancy of your brand message. How about that? All right. If you have questions, type below. What questions do you have about branding and the 3 tiers that I explained as what your brand should look like? What questions do you have about your brand? Because I'm here to help you. I want to answer those questions. So comment below with what your questions are, and I'll go ahead and address them. All right. Okay. Now, and let me say this too. If you got something out of that little piece of nugget that I shared right then and there, I want you to drop a fire emoji below, because that's how I will know it is fire is popping up in here. This is the information that you want to hear. That's how I'll know that. Okay. So drop a fire emoji below, and also drop your questions below, and I'll address both. Now, on to marketing. Right? So that's branding. Branding is a message, it's value, and it's influence. Marketing is just one thing. It's how you get that message out there. The vehicles you use to get your message, your brand, your value, and it helps to also increase your influence. But it's all about what you are doing to get it out there. That is marketing. That's it. It's very simple. Branding is a message, it has value, and it has influence. Branding is a message, it has value, it has influence. Marketing is how you take that whole brand and get it out to the people who need it. Get it out to the whole world, the people who are searching for it. There are people searching for what you have to offer. But it's up to you to make sure that your messaging is clear, that it shows the value so it can carry the influence through your marketing strategies and initiatives. Now, if you need help with getting yourself out there with regard to marketing, I've got a goodie for you. Okay, I told you guys I wouldn't sing before. When I get excited, I sing, right? Some people, when they eat and they get excited, they dance. Well, I sing, all right? Well, I drag my words a little bit to sound melodic. Now, we won't say if that melody is good or bad, but it is melodic. So here's what I want to offer to you. I want to invite you to be a part of the Author Visibility Blueprint. I want you to get it. I want to invite you to get the Author Visibility Blueprint. What the heck is that? Well, it is the formula that you need, that I've used to help elevate your brand. It will help you to coordinate some of the essentials of what your brand needs to have, right? How do you transition that message to value and then make it have influence? I'll give you the answer, and how you walk through it is in the Author Visibility Blueprint, but it's an offer. Besides your book, you need an irresistible offer that is going to blow people's minds because of the value that it brings to them. And when you bring them value, more value than they're paying for, when you bring them the value, that is what gives you influence in your sphere, in your space. Okay? So I want you to go to the link below, AVB, Author Visibility Blueprint, avb.extremeoverflow.com, and get a copy today. It's actually an e-course. You can take it right from your phone, and it will make you just so excited to jump in and start making sure that your brand is absolutely, simply irresistible because it has a strategy. So if you don't have a strategy in place, you need this. If you don't have a strategy in place, so you thought you did, or you tried some things and they didn't work, you need the Author Visibility Blueprint. It's going to help you to see more clearly, looking at your brand, more clearly looking at how to market, and more clearly looking at the ways you need to present yourself and the irresistible offer besides your book that you need to offer to them. All right? I love it. Questions down below. Author Visibility Blueprint will also be below for you to take advantage of. And if you have any questions, please feel free to comment that below or just connect with me and I'll be happy to answer. Post in the group. If you can't find this thread or you just have a random question, throughout the week, post in the group and it will get answered by myself, or even there's some other authors here that will be able to help you as well. Everyone's starting at different places in their journey. So what you may have a question about, someone may have already tackled. And so we want to be a resource to each other. That's what this group is all about, being supportive with each other. The Intentional Authorpreneur Group with Yolanda Lewis. I'm so glad you are here. I'm so glad and can't wait for you to get started on the Author Visibility Blueprint. You'll see more posted about that this week. And I will see you again next week. Next week, we're starting a new theme because it's a new month. And I can't wait. We're going to do some more training. I'm going to break down some things in terms of offer. We got goodies coming up. So stay connected, all right? All right. Take care, y'all. Have a great author intentional week that's beautiful and irresistible. Take care. God bless. Bye.